Thank you very much for tuning in for this live employer masterclass. Our guest is here with us. David, a warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining us for this live employer masterclass.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Yeah, so David, I was reading on your bio and seeing, the things that you've done. Thanks again for joining us. We've got here with us today, folks, David Cooper, who's the theatre manager at Elgiva Theatre. David has specialised in theatre management and programming for over 23 years, with stints at Broxbourne, Southend Theatres, Buxton Opera House and the King's Theatre, South Sea. Most importantly, for the last 3 years, following another year of travelling, he's been theatre manager at the Elgiva in Chesham. Wow. You guys, I've seen some of the videos that the Elgiva's hosted and some of the plays. I know that the past year has been very difficult for the whole industry. But it's a staple name. It's a staple venue for everybody to visit.
So certainly in this neck of the woods, it's quite an important focal point.
Yeah. So David, again, thank you for joining us. Tell us a little bit about what a theatre manager does, how the past year's been for you as well.
Oof. They're very different. I'm trying to remember what a theatre manager does. Basically responsible for delivering a program of entertainments, but also hosting local groups like schools, dance schools, amateur dramatics, and so my role is really to oversee and manage the different departments. And they're really quite different. In theatre, you have our theatre technicians who are vampire-like. They work in the evenings, whereas you've got your office staff. We've got finance, marketing, administration, all those sort of functions. Marketing is very different from other areas because our marketeers are marketing a different product every day. And so my role is really just to coordinate that. And I book the shows and the activities, negotiate the contracts for the incoming companies.
Sounds really interesting. Well, we know that the 19th of July is going to be the Day of Liberty.
Yeah. For now, yeah. I mean, it's a day that we've been looking for. We've been working on reduced capacities. We're a 300-seat theatre, but trying to operate on 90, which has been really difficult. And obviously, we've spent 8 months closed.
Yeah. We've heard some prominent names, Lord Webber, talking about, how it's difficult to try and operate under those circumstances because the need to fill the theatres in order for them to survive and function properly. You said you're 300, but having to work with a 90 capacity, is that going to have a damaging effect long term?
Wait and see. There's been a lot of changes over the closure, especially in terms of technology. We're relating to films and live screenings, which were a core area of our program before, but now most National Theatre, Disney are releasing direct to home now.
Yeah, I think that's really, it's really interesting how it's changed. As you said, Disney and a lot of these other companies are offering these home entertainment where you can watch. Of course, you pay much more compared to going to the cinema, perhaps. But could you tell us the changes that you've had to make at the Elgiva? What kind of ways have you had to adapt?
Well, it really is operationally trying to adapt to create one-way systems and cleaning seats between performances. So, for example, today we've got a film that started at 1:30. One when we've got 80 people booked in. When they leave, we've got to clean those seats, disinfect the seats, and get them ready for the next screening at 8 o'clock. In terms of the impact, the main impact is financial, in that it costs virtually the same to put an event on for 90 as it does 300 in terms of staffing. You still need the same level of staffing and the venue and those sort of things, but you're not getting the income in. So we've taken a decision to open when we can, mainly to maintain our audience base.
Yeah.
Even when we sell out on 90 seats, we're not really making any money.
Yeah.
But it's about keeping our profile up and keeping engaged with our audiences.
Yeah, I can just imagine, the past year or so has been horrendous for you guys, and it's trying to get that balance as well. It's, of course, you need to operate, you need to survive, we need theatres, but then also, it's trying to think about, this virus and how we can learn to live with it and deal with it, and I think that's the difficulty. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's got into people's psyche now. People are worried about being next to somebody else. That's why I sort of smiled wryly when we said everyone's free to come out. I don't believe they will. We'll still have social distancing, but it will be at the choice of the customer. It's a case of they will make sure they book seats away from somebody else. So it will be very difficult for us to achieve capacity, at least initially, until they've got the confidence to come back. We're looking at focusing much more on live and the experience. We've got to, so it's a case of, for example, we had a barbershop quartet do a pre-show concert, if you like, 20 minutes prior to one of our films. So we need to raise the experiential value, to add value to it, include packages with the tickets. We've got pianists lined up through our music hub to play before our live screenings, the National Theatre, again, to add value to the experience. We can't just sit on our laurels and just screen a film and expect people to come when they could see it in the comfort of their own home. We've got to make it an experience.
Yeah, but there's nothing like sitting in a theatre with popcorn and a big screen there with the whole surround sound and everything, the whole experience that comes with it. Nothing quite matches that.
No, you just got to remind people of that, though. It's a case of a year's a long time, and it's getting people back in. I mean, I always beat the drum. My favourite film is It's a Wonderful Life. I've screened it every year for 27 years. And we still sell tickets.
Yeah.
People will come to see a film they've seen. Exactly for what you say. It's about the experience. It's about seeing it with other people. But I think we're going to have to remind people of that difference, the value. And it's going to be an interesting next 6 months, I think. That's if we remain open.
Yeah.
Because then there's a chance that if infections rise, we might be looking at another lockdown.
Yeah, let's not think that far yet.
It's what you've got to do. You've got to manage expectations. You've got to plan for the worst and hope for the best.
Hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
Yeah,
indeed. Tell us how, what does it take to become a theatre manager? How do you know which acts to go and find? Is there an agent that you can reach out to? How does it work? How do you know that that's the play to sign up?
Right. I mean, it's a mix. A lot of times, you know what you want to see. My last venue was 1,600 seats. So when I was there, it was I was looking at the West End shows, Grease, all of those sort of things, and it's basically sometimes you need to go to promoters and companies. A lot of time you'll get the emails coming through. This tour is coming out. Are you interested? But it's certainly for a smaller venue. You've got to go out there. We have a lot of good names in terms of comedy, mainly because they like us and we're quite close to London. We're on the Metropolitan line. So we're a good tryout venue for when they get, so Michael McIntyre, Josh Widdicombe, Alan Carr, all of those sort of names we get here because they're looking for tryout venues just to try out the material.
And you hear that a lot from them. They actually, each time they've been interviewed, that's one thing that they always mention.
Yeah, and so it's so we look at that. You develop your relationships with those key promoters to make sure they are thinking about you, and you keep pestering them if you haven't heard from them for a while. Then it's looking at the balance of the program and thinking, oh, there's something missing. I need to fill that gap, whether it be family. At the moment, we've just got a residency with English Sinfonia. So we've developed a relationship with them. So we're now building the classical music genre to add a little bit of balance to our existing program.
And to have that as residency as well, that's an extra feather in the bow.
Yeah, and that's all thanks to the lockdown. Gave me time to pester and nag, and there's and try and work something out. And again, we're a very good dress rehearsal venue before we go elsewhere.
And also, one that will be very familiar to our audience, Horrible Histories. You had that not long ago.
Yeah, and again, I used to work with them a lot when I was in Portsmouth. So they've now developed a relationship with them. In fact, next year we're their production venue for their next year's spring tour, which will be interesting. But again, really good quality, entertaining, but very good name for our families. It's an area that we're trying to target as the family audience. And so Horrible Histories is really important to us.
Yeah. So, I want to talk now about your time, thinking about your career, thinking about what the future would be like for yourself at that age of 16, as most of our audience will be, planning for the future. What was that time like for you? Did you have it all figured out? Or?
Absolutely not. I hadn't got a clue. The only thing I was dragged up in near Minehead, watch it in Somerset.
Oh, I love Minehead.
So my main, it was just getting away, getting to London. So it was a case of I did geography at college, and I started off in personnel, as it was called then. It's now human resources or personal development, and went through. Then moved into leisure and was commercial manager at Barnet Cocktail, Barnet Leisure, and then moved into theatres from there, really because I wanted to manage my own venues and things like that. But so I've had quite a varied sort of career, and so I couldn't. Had you asked me at even 18 that I'd be in theatre, I'd have laughed.
Yeah.
But actually, you find your slot. It's something that that's happened,
Mm.
and you find you enjoy it. But I think it's really important, if you don't know what you're doing, is to keep all your options open. You know,
Yeah.
I'm a great believer in. That's why I do believe that if you've got a handle on human resources, you know, motivation, staff management, and marketing principles, that hold you in good stead, whatever you look to do. So I think I've got quite a lot of transferable skills. So I could walk into, not walk in, that sounds big-headed, but as long as you
Virtually.
follow those principles, you can do anything. You know,
Yeah.
I went from a building contractor as HR through to, you know, running theatres and programming. So it's I think if you're starting out, it's not a problem to not know what you want to do. You'll find that out. I think you experiment to see what you're good at, but try and keep your options open. You
Yeah.
know, look at more generalist if you're not sure what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Or that's what I did anyway, and I just ate up any courses that were offered to me.
Yeah, I'm really glad you've mentioned that, because that's exactly what we were just talking about. You know, if you don't know what you want to do, you know, well, how do you figure it out? And you know, as you said, at this stage, for a lot of students in that 16 to 18 group, it's okay not to know what you want to do in the future, but it's a good time to start thinking about what you want to do, and also thinking about those skills that you've just spoke about, those personal development skills, because you can apply that to almost anything. Talk to us a bit more about that and how you found it useful.
I think I'm a great believer in work experience. I try and do a lot of that here, because I remember I came out of college. You mix with the same type of people in college, and it was a real culture shock the first time, my first job, because I hit the shop floor at the Royal Ordnance Small Arms Factory in Enfield. And my first job was to walk around the shop floor counting the number of triggers people have made. And they were all, the conversation was page 3, Gooners or Spurs, because that was where you were, and lots of swearing. And it wasn't something that I was familiar with, you know? And it was a real culture shock for me. And it's something that I wished I'd done more work experience, gone out into, in fact, just to speak to different people, to acclimatize myself. Stuff like everybody, when they first start, using the phone. It's quite scary if you're doing it for the first time, you know. So I'd definitely suggest taking up any work experience opportunities that you can, because it's more important to show what you don't like. You know, you have rose tinted glasses on some careers, and then when you actually come in to do some work experience, you actually see what it's really like. A bit like theatre. Sounds so cool. You're rubbing shoulders with, you know, stars all the time. Technical theatre, you're lugging big boxes,
And you spoke about
at 6 o'clock in the morning,
yeah,
or at 2 o'clock at night, you know, when everyone's gone, you know, and you start seeing it in a different way. So I definitely advocate that. For me, it was about taking the opportunities for training when I could, for personal development. I think that's really important.
yeah. Yeah, really good advice again. And, you know, you spoke about, you know, those staff members burning the midnight oil on the graveyard shift, you know, the less glamorous side of it, you know, that can, you know, be quite a reality shock to realize that it's not it's not, the grass is not always greener on the other side until you get there and you realize actually
Right.
I want to move back. But yeah, really good point. Tell us what you enjoy the most about what you do.
For me, it's about probably people. And the variety. Every day is different. and especially as part of a small team. We've had some, again, people having to self-isolate. So I've spent the morning on the box office, which wasn't planned. And I quite enjoy that. The variety, it's the fact that you have all, certainly in a regional theatre, it's different in the West End where you have the same show in, day out. But I love the variety. You know, 1 minute you've got a film, the next it's a dance school, then you've got a show, you know, maybe a tribute show or the real deal, you know, or drama. And I really like the fact that it's different. And then you've got panto. You know, it's some where you can really, it's fun, you know, and that's the thing I missed. I went traveling for a year before I came here. And that's the thing I really missed. I really missed being involved in panto, you know, for even front of house, it's fun. And you don't get that. I didn't get that at the Royal Ordnance Small Arms Factory, strangely.
Yeah, I wonder why. But, you know, I like what you said in terms of the box office. You know, my memories, you know, as a child walking into theatre, first of all, is that, you know, you see that person in the box office, she's so excited and they've got that smile and they're so welcoming, and it's getting ready to see this exciting movie that you've been looking forward to. And just, you know, the smell of popcorn and just the excitement of everything, getting ready to go in there and enjoy that film. And I think that's where the experience starts. That's where it all starts before you even sit down on your seat and get ready for, you know, the play or the film.
That's what's different about theatre. People are actually coming here to enjoy themselves. Yeah. So you're starting on a very positive note.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what's nice as well. And one of my favourite things has always been to be on the door as people are leaving. Yeah. So you hear that, you feel that buzz.
Yeah.
You know, and it really genuinely does make your day when people are walking out and you hear that buzz when people have enjoyed themselves. Yeah. And everyone's thanking me for the evening, and I said thank you, I've done really well tonight, you know. But it's a really powerful thing.
Yeah.
And that's what certainly since we've reopened, we've had a couple of dance schools in, and the atmosphere has been amazing. You know, these kids have been been pent up wanting to perform in a theatre for over a year now, you know, and it's been very pantomime like the atmosphere. And again, it's good to be around that sort of atmosphere.
Yeah. Wow. It's been an absolute joy just hearing your experience and your love and passion for theatre. And I think, you know, that's certainly come across for all our audience here today. Now, before we let you go, what final words would you like to share with our audience?
I just, from a careers point of view, don't be worried about any setbacks, you know, and just push through. I mean, I've been made redundant 3 times, changed careers, gone traveling twice, once at 26 and one at 51, you know, for a year. And I am where I am. But it's because I've made sure I've had those skills.
Yeah.
You know, I've set myself up so that I've got those skills that can be transferable. But certainly, you know, setbacks, you've just got to keep moving and keep your eye open and remain positive.
What a great note to finish off. David Cooper, thank you so much. You know, stay positive and just keep going. Absolutely brilliant words spoken here today. Thank you very much indeed. So, guys, there you have it. What a fantastic interview there with David Cooper. Why not like this video? And, of course, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the bell icon so that you're notified whenever we upload a video. A huge thank you again to our guest. Thank you to all of you, our schools, and also a huge thank you to all the team here at the Change in Education Group. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.